There are 5 common mistakes when it comes to seated low rows. And these are specific, especially for beginners, but I also see people who have been doing low rows forever. They'll make at least one of these mistakes. So the first common mistake is generating momentum with your low back. So sometimes you'll see this, right? And people rocking, okay, going back. Right, so there should be no forward and back movement. That's more specific, that's like a rowing machine that you do for cardio, right? But for this, we want to make sure that when we pull back, right, that we are able to keep our torso stable. You can decline slightly, but you do not want to pull with yourself rowing backwards like this. So you want to keep your torso stable. Your core is your stabilizer. When your feet are up in front of you, on the pegs in front of you, or a plate or platform, whatever type is on your machine, you want to also feel a little bit of your hamstrings and glutes engage, and then also to feel that your pelvis is rolled back slightly. You don't want to sit with your pelvis sticking out way forward. Sometimes we'll see this position because now our rib cage is in extension. Okay, so when you get set up, sit, feel your ribs just kind of tilt down towards your pelvis. When you do that, you may start to feel your internal obliques engage. Okay, and then row back. Okay. The second mistake is lifting your elbows too high. So an example we may see is this. So people will go to the outside, right? So you don't want to go to the outside. Instead, you want to have your elbows go down and feel your shoulders drop into what you could feel is a back pocket down here in your lower trap. So when you pull back, elbows down tight to the side, okay? And feel that your shoulder blades drop down. That's the second mistake. Along with that mistake with the elbow situation is that people will pull and they'll pull their elbows way back. So then you're gonna see that my elbows are not in line with the side of my body. So I really don't wanna pull any further than my elbows line to the side of my hips. So I don't wanna pull all the way back, that my elbow now is going back this way. Because when I do that, then the front part of my shoulder is now internally rotating. So we only want to pull right to the side of our body. Mistake number 3 is elevating your shoulders during the row. How many times are people going and they pull back and then they're going up into their neck? So now their upper traps are working way too hard. Their neck is working way too hard. So for this, I tell people very often, lighten the weight. When you have the weight come down, and then you're gonna pull to you, notice where your shoulders are, and then try to drop them down, and just hold. Okay, then go forward, come back again. Your shoulders are probably gonna raise up again, drop back down. Because in the beginning, we're so used to using our neck, okay, for everything that we're doing. People walk around, I always say women come in here waiting to exhale, right? They're carrying the weight of their world on their shoulders and they're waiting to exhale. So when you do your row, okay, and you row back, notice where your shoulders are. Exhale. Okay, drop your shoulders down. What that's gonna do is it's gonna start to grab a whole area of your back, which is down here, which is the common notorious part where people say, oh my gosh, I have back fat, right? Well, this is a lat exercise, right? This is primarily, yes, it's a back exercise too, but we're also using our lats, that whole big muscle down on the sides of us, and we should feel the connection. So when we row back, you want to feel yourself connect from here, down to here, down to here, down to your waist. You want to feel that connection point. Okay, so make sure that your shoulders are not pulling up in your ear. Another common mistake I see, this is so important. The way I grab the bar, and I'll see that people pull it way up here. If you can see my hand grip here, my bar is tilted away from me. So then I'll tell people switch, put your thumbs on top of the bar, angle the bar down towards your belly button, okay? Don't have the bar be up here. And once we have the bar tilting away from us, you're gonna feel a very different part of your back versus when you have your thumbs on top of the bar, you come back, angle it down towards your belly button. Okay, so that's the fourth big mistake. And then the fifth big mistake overall, and this will cause, first of all of those will contribute towards pain in your elbow. But another big mistake that I see is that people do not know how to move from their back. When they make the pulling motion, their arms will do so much of the work. Their back isn't really ever doing the work. So in that other video that I have, like the prone eyes, the prone scapular retraction video, that's a good exercise to kind of teach you how to move from your back. So when you do this exercise, you can also start just right here. Make sure you have your thumbs on top of the bar, and then just move your back without moving your arms. If you see this happen first, your first attempt is bending your elbows, then you're gonna know that most likely you are using your arms to make that first initial movement versus your back, right? So when you make that first movement, make your back do the work. And then when you do this, if you're correct, you're gonna feel your core stabilizing. If you're incorrect, you're gonna see this. See how my back arches? Because now I'm using extension of the rib cage, right, to get the feeling of using my back. And that's not gonna be the same thing either. Okay, so when you're doing this exercise, pull through your back and then finish off the movement. Pull through your back and then finish off the movement. You want to make sure that when you're doing these exercises, don't just count the sets and reps. Don't just pull the bar. Anybody could pull the bar. That's not the hard part. The skill really comes from being so in touch with what part of my body is doing the majority of the work, because that is going to dictate your results. Okay, so when you can actually use your full back to pull the weight, imagine what's gonna happen. You're gonna build so much muscle in your back. You're gonna increase your resting metabolic rate just because now you're building overall muscle, right? Just because you're pulling the machine or you're pulling the weight does not mean that you're building muscle. Your ability to connect your mind to the muscle is so important. It is the most valuable thing you will learn in the beginning. So for any seated row machine, okay, seated row machine, cable machine, whichever you want to call it, you want to make sure that the weight is light enough initially that you are not compensating, not using your neck, not pulling just from your arms, okay, not allowing the weight to fall in the wrong place in my upper chest, or I'm using my shoulders too much, right? Sometimes people will pull and there's such shoulder users in this exercise versus their back. So really take time to sit and think about what you feel, okay, and try to make these little adjustments. Get curious. If I lower my shoulder down, what muscle do I feel turning on? And then you're gonna feel something different. Be like, oh, that's my back muscle, right? Go look on the video that has like the part, you can look up videos that show you, right, all the muscles of the back. And then I post them on here too as well. Am I touching base with those muscles? And you want to make sure that you're actually feeling them so that you're getting the return on investment of the time on this machine.